Hi, this is LauraJthe.Treetalker. I'm going to ask my cards, my tree oracle cards, a question, a sort of generalized question about the Middle East, not just Gaza and Israel, but all the different, there's a lot of different players there who may not be as obvious. And I just wanted to see what the cards had to say about it. And so the first thing I'm going to do is lower the screen. There. And shuffle. Shuffle a bit. As we know, anybody who's watched these, there are 137 cards. 137 is a magic number in physics. It's called the alpha principle. You may look it up because I don't remember it. I've got it written down someplace. But it's one of those things that even when you read it, you don't quite understand it unless you're into physics, which I'm not. Okay, so I'm thinking about this question. It's a vague question. And I might get a vague answer because this isn't tarot. This is not what you can do a certain amount of prognosticating with tarot, which I don't think you can do with these, but we will try. Anyway, not too bad. As shuffling goes. All right, there. And then I go all right, so our first card is, it is Spanish Cedar reversed charisma. And second card is Kohi Kohi, well-being, and that's also reversed. This one is avocado, which is opulence, and it is upright. This is, geez, did I do this right? This is Burya. It is classic, and it's, well, I'm going to say it's upright because that's how I looked at it first. And this one is Cottonwood, Twist of Fate, and it's also upright. Okay, so basically our covering situation is charisma reversed, which means lack of, well-being reversed, which is obvious, opulence, a classic situation, and twist of fate. Okay, so how I read that is you've got a situation where charisma is in short supply, as in well-being. Well, now that would be obviously the situation in Gaza, Palestine, but it's not just that. I mean, you've got Iran, you've got Syria, you've got Egypt, you've got the OPEC nations, and there's a lot of political stuff going on there at the moment. People are kind of trying to see what advantage they can get, trying to work with our president to get what works for them. I mean, I don't think anybody does it any differently. And so you've got a combination of charisma that is used for false purposes, and a situation where some parties don't care how they come across, so charisma is a non-element. And then well-being, where more than one country is having people in great distress. So overall the region is sort of split. It's got the really wealthy who are playing their cards to see what they can get, but they also are concerned about the countries that are not doing well, and have them in mind for what needs to happen in the future. I mean, they're thinking long term. You've got opulence, and the opulence card is very important because it means places who are the OPEC nations, who have lots of money, and we want to be selective about where they spend it to make it do the most good. You've got a classic thing, well, obviously power in nations and things, but you've also got this is the birthplace of civilization, and the Fertile Crescent, and this is where these people have a huge, long history, and they're dealing with countries, even if it's Europe, that are young compared to them. And then you've got twist of fate, which is sort of like things get tossed up in the air, and you don't, it's sort of at the mercy of happenstance. And karma. It's not just happenstance, but it's what kind of karma has a country wrought for itself. And as these countries are very, very ancient in their history, there's a lot of karma going in lots of different directions. So that's interesting enough. And so we should ask, what is the what will happen in the immediate future? Let's take 5 cards for that. We've got Date Palm, which is unrelenting. I don't know if you can see this because I can't see my screen at the moment. You've got unrelenting. You've got Acai, nourish, to nourish. You've got tamarisk, preparation. You've got, come here. You've got screw pine, modesty. And you've got Hawthorne, dedication. Okay, so these are the immediate future. You've got unrelenting. I would say that the energy, in particular areas, and perhaps all, is unrelenting. It's not gonna back off. And I think that's not just the situation in Israel, Gaza. I think it is all of them. I think they all see the future is questionable because there's a lot of war going on in the world, and nowadays it's not just a bunch of people fighting, it's the potential for nuclear. So I think that they are the richer countries are unrelenting in their desire to find peaceful solutions and perhaps move the world forward. I mean, they don't have a lot of problem with the money anymore because they're very rich, but they also understand that the oil stuff, it will eventually dry up. They understand this, and they will have to use all their great wealth to invest in green technology so the planet has a future of going on. Then you've got nourishing, or to nourish, and that is there again. That is the money in the region, which has the capacity to care for its own, and I think that's where its main interest is. Although there again, they are thinking ahead. Then you've got preparation. Preparation is understanding that all this is a long-term project. It is not just, oh, gee, we're going to invest in this because it's going to make us money. We're going to invest in this because it's going to take us into the future with some security. And also, I would say on a different level, preparing for what's going to happen to the Gazans, because if things go the way they're going to be driven out. And they have to go someplace. And I think the obvious thing is for the other Arab nations to find a place for them somewhere where they can live in peace without being under threat all the time. And then you've got modesty. Modesty means they're not screaming and yelling about what great they are. We're so great. We're doing this great thing, you know. I mean, part of the longevity of the region and the history of it is that they learn not to just toot their own horn, and because that's just words. It doesn't mean anything. And they are dedicated to this. So this seems to me a very positive current events situation, although it is in the middle of warfare. I think these folks are looking ahead to see how things can turn out that is to the advantage of the area in general. I think many people are aware that when MBS met Zelensky, he was very impressed because they both love their country, and it means a lot to them. They understand each other. So I think that there is a pride in place. There is a love of country. There is the ability to look forward with vision. Okay, so now I'm going to do a third section. Let's try to do some kind of outcome thing. Okay, so what about long term? What can we think about long term? We've got Katsura, grand. Right at this moment, I'm not even sure this thing is recording. I can't see it. We've got, I'm picking up hidden cards today. We've got Apple rising up. we've got ground cell, utility, but it's reversed. We've got Cedar of Lebanon, holy. And we've got oh, I can't pronounce this, Black Mare, credible. Okay, so what I'm saying is this is in the, I would say, what did I ask? I would say sort of short term. Outcomes on countries are always short term. So the outcome for kind of the foreseeable future. So you've got an outlook that takes the grand picture in and has a grand vision. It's a grand vision, and it requires the people of the area, in accordance with the age of Aquarius, be rising up in some places and just having a bigger say in things in an overall area. And utility. So some utility reversed. I would say that it means there will be a certain level of lack of ability to utilize what tools are available. So there'll be a certain amount of stalling, a little bit of difficulty there, where things don't all gel together. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of different countries who work something as a block, but not all together. So there will be a certain amount of what the Brits would call argy-bargy, where you get one group of people, one group of the countries saying, well, this is the direction we want to go, and the other ones are being kind of poopy about it and say, well, we want this or whatever. Anyway, that's what Sipat is. Then we've got holy. Now, this area, as I say, was the beginning of civilization and the beginning of a lot of religions. A lot of religions began in that region. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all were born there. So it is a sacred area to a lot of these people. So it's not just like it is here. Yeah, we love our country and wave flags and stuff, but it's not like like the history of what's going on over there. And then you've got credible, which means that the actions of these people as a group will have credibility. It's not just for show. They really have their eye on the future and want to create something that is going to last, and they want to benefit the rest of the world and set something that is a good example for everybody, and so that people of disparate outlooks on life can get along. I think they want to set the example. Anyway, so that's what I'm seeing about that. And I hope this recorded. And I will post pictures of the layout online and do sort of a quick rehab so I can try to make a short out of this. It might be a little difficult with so many cards, so I might not be able to, but anyway, so that was a question that's been sitting in my mind for a while. What's going to happen with the Middle East? Because what we concentrate on now is the the Gazan situation, and there's Syria, and there's all kinds of stuff that are war, and the press tends to look at what makes the best story. So we're going to hear about those things, but there's a lot more going on. I believe, like, in a sense, sort of like the second rebirth of civilization could happen in this area. So, and not that civilization is dying, but it's certainly going through a lot of problems at the moment. Anyway, let me raise this thing, even though I cannot see myself because the screen has gone dark. I think it's still recording. Okay. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. So I would love comments on this if anybody sees it. So this is LauraJthe.Treetalker, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you please like and subscribe. And if you have friends who are into nature or think that any of this holds water, the trees have something to say, then come back and watch me next time. And I'll see you later. Bye.